Hi again, everybody, and welcome to Inside Golf. I'm Harry Donahue. Today at Lulu Country Club, where Leo Mackey's going to meet up with a couple women pros in the section to talk about how the pandemic affected their programs and how they hope golf can continue the popularity in the sport that certainly occurred in 2020, rolling into 2021. And that's going to be the topic also of our Teed Off panel today at Lulu. As you know, golf certainly got a shot in the arm, pardon the pun, from the pandemic. And how does our panel think it's going to continue into the 2021 season and moving forward? That's next. All coming up today on Inside Golf from Lulu Country Club. The 24th season of Inside Golf is presented by Destination Montco Golf. 50 courses, over 300,000 yards. Check them out at montcogolf.com. By the First Tee Greater Philadelphia, building game changers. The First Tee not only helps young men and women become better golfers, but most important, better people. Get involved. Visit firstteephiladelphia.org. By Gap, celebrating amateur golf since 1897. By Jersey Man and Philly Man Magazine, a digital publication and private business network. Read the current issue, free, at jerseymanmagazine.com. And by Inside Golf's partner since 1998, the Philadelphia PGA section, the experts in the game and business of golf, and celebrating their centennial year. Take time to thank your local men and women PGA professionals.
Golf is the great equalizer. For many, this journey is an escape from reality, a chance to be part of a team, a career opportunity. PGA Reach impacts lives through golf by lifting people up, giving them hope, and sending them down an alternate path that they never saw coming. With PGA Reach Philadelphia, as in life and in golf, the most important shot you take is the next one.
Welcome back to Inside Golf today from Upper Dublin and Lulu Country Club. Leo Mackey of the Philadelphia section of the PGA recently caught up with a couple female professionals in the area to talk about how the pandemic affected their programs and also how they're helping people get ready for the coming golf season.
Thanks, Harry. I'm here with two of my fellow female PGA professionals, Patty Post, men and women's golf coach at the University of Delaware. Welcome, Patty.
Thanks for having me.
And Megan Spiro, Director of Membership and Communications at Wilmington Country Club. Yep. Welcome, Megan.
Thanks, Lila.
And we're going to talk a little bit about the effects of COVID-19 on collegiate sports and membership, and just talk to us about this year and what you've seen, especially collegiate sports. I mean, I know that's been a huge...
Yes, it has not gone smoothly, to say the least. And you know, the hard part is the abrupt cessation of collegiate sports that happened almost a year ago. Hard to believe. I think that was a hard pill for anybody to swallow at the moment. Because those are the moments that you can't go back in time, right? People who are graduating and ending their actual collegiate careers, and they really didn't get that experience of walking down their last hole of a golf tournament or even graduation ceremony. So it was a very interesting time. Now they tried to give that, the NCAA did their best to try and give that back to those players who wanted to come back for the extra year. But again, you know, we go into college kind of having this 4-year timeline and thinking that where will I be in 4 years? Well, I'm going to be graduating. I'm going to be moving on. So in most cases, a lot of those individuals did move on. And then we got to fall thinking we'd all be ready and raring to go again. And our conference and our university itself, you know, called it come mid-July, end of August, or beginning of August, where we decided we weren't going to compete in the fall. Again, having that next phone call with all of our Zoom call with all of our athletes was another hard pill to swallow. Luckily, we are golf, and we play outside, and tournaments still existed for us and our players to still play in. So, you know, they really lucked out being in the sport that we've all loved and have chosen, so that they could continue to have those experiences and those moments on their own. Still not in a team environment or representing your school, But hopefully we'll be back here this spring and get back with collegiate golf as we know it to some extent.
So when do they plan on making that decision? The plan is to play in the spring?
Yes. The NCAA has their championships all set up, and regionals and collegiate tournaments are happening. It'll be the hit or miss delays, as we all seen from basketball and other sports that are already starting to play, where COVID has had to pause activities at that particular school. Again, we're outside, we're socially distanced in the beginning throughout a tournament. So those we should have less pauses, knocking on wood.
Yeah. Let me ask you one more question about
Sure.
that. So when they pause a season, is it kind of all across the board? And if they're pausing all college sports, we're pausing all college sports, or is it, sport by sport?
That's what happened last spring, as the whole country essentially paused. But this fall, it was an option if your school, your conference wanted to play, that they could. Very few schools and conferences did end up competing. So come the spring, it's still up to each conference to choose, but the NCAA is moving on. So it's an opportunity to have a championship and have that title and experience. So so now it's up to each individual school to jump on or jump off. And I think most want to try in some way, shape, or form to get their athletes back.
Yeah, and it's a little different than being, I guess, in football or something and deciding whether you're going to the draft or not.
Yes, timing isn't of the essence as it is in other sports, right? Golf, again, we're a year-round sport in most cases, right? We want to give everybody that time to recoup, and for us, it's that winter time where we have finals, December, winter weather, give them that downtime to recharge. But then once those collegiate golfers come back in the spring, they're playing all the way through their summer tournaments, summer schedules, USGA championships, back in campus in September, and back through our fall season. So it's a year-round deal. So we don't need that pause necessarily like the football players do for injuries and all that preparation.
Oh, I can't even imagine. It's just a tough year for everyone, but especially collegiate athletes. Megan, talk to us a little bit about membership. And, this year we saw a huge increase in people wanting to play golf, people playing golf. Obviously, it was one of the only things to do. What have you seen at your club, Wilmington Country Club, as far as membership, more people interested? What's going on?
So membership definitely was consistent the past year. But where we saw a lot of it was where we had memberships where, say, only the husband had joined. All of a sudden, they were adding the wife and the spouse to the membership, even if she had never played before, wasn't really into the club scene or anything of that nature. But the fact that they could come out as a family, as a unit, really interested them. And we saw a big increase in that, and a lot more women coming out to play that had never, ever picked up a club before in their life. And seeing families playing together and the kids. So it's been really a nice thing to see.
That's great. I know, it's a good year for golf, surprisingly.
Yes, great year.
So when we talk about women in golf, and you guys have been in the section since I joined the section 9 years ago, so.
Are you calling us old?
A roundabout way, no, I'm kidding. And why do you guys think it's important for the PGA as an association, but also the section, to promote women's golf and get more female PGA professionals? And what can we do better? We're always trying to get better.
Well, I think, now getting on the back half of my career throughout the golf industry, and I've done a lot of different things throughout the golf industry, including as a participant in golf. And, when you're young and single, golf is easy, right? You have yourself, you have your job, and that's about it. And then now I have 3 children and homeschooling and work and this and that and the other thing. Before homeschooling, I should say, just even their activities. And there's not a lot of time for golf as a working mother. And so I finally understand the other half of the puzzle, where women struggle to play and find the time to do so. And I know the COVID kind of gave us a pause that we could have a break from those activities and find different activities to do with our families, and that brought more women to the golf course, in my mind at least.
Oh, definitely. It almost like reset some of the priorities, like that home work life balance, and saying, I need a little bit of me time, me as a mother to 2 young kids, and trying to find more time for myself, to try to get out and play. And I think you saw that a lot with a lot of these women saying, okay, I have the time now, a little bit more time because, you know, I'm working from home, or, you know, the kids are okay because they're doing their homeschooling, or let's all go out and play together. It was like, okay, it's okay to prioritize myself and the kids for a change instead of just career.
That's great. Well, thank you so much, Megan, Patty. Really appreciate you being here. Stay with us. When we come back, we're going to be talking about more youth sports and fitness and what you can do to get ready for the golf season.
They're not just familiar faces. They're your friends and neighbors. It's their small businesses, a beating heart that makes a neighborhood a home. The places with a pick-me-up or a story that inspires, where you can share a taste of comfort with the personal touch that makes our world shine a little brighter. Support small and make a big difference. Make it local. Make it Main Street. Make it Montco.
With a full range of BMW X vehicles available, no matter what adventure lies around the corner, there's an X for that. Hurry in and lease a 2021 BMW X3 X-Drive 30i for $449 a month.
Welcome back to Inside Golf. We're here with my fellow female PGA professionals, Patty Post, men's and women's golf coach at the University of Delaware. Thanks for being here, Patty.
Thanks for having me.
And Megan Spiro, Director of Membership and Communications at Wilmington Country Club. And let's talk a little bit about how you guys as PGA professionals get ready for the on season. You know, I don't know about you, but I don't play very much in the off season. So what do you do to stay, you know, in check and make sure you haven't totally lost it by the time the season rolls around?
Never know, right? That's why we play this game.
Yeah.
I would say, you know, for those of us who are in the 40s, you want to make sure that you stay limber. So yoga and stretching is huge. Everybody, once they start swinging a golf club come springtime, all of a sudden gets a little kinks and wonders, ooh, I don't remember feeling that. Well, you'd really have to use those muscles, and, you know, finding a local strength and conditioning coach or a trainer who can help you with golf-specific type exercises. You know, there's a organization called TPI, which we use at our college, that Titleist Performance Institute, where they are kind of screened with what their body is, where their weakness is or where their strengths are, and then we focus those specific body parts. So I always tell my golfers, anything is better than nothing. So whether it be that you're interested in cardio, or whether it be that you're interested in yoga, or whether you loved strength training or CrossFit, whatever it might be, anything is better than nothing, just to keep your body moving, because golf, once it starts, you know, you don't want to have a injury layoff as soon as it comes back.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think this past year was so unique because there was such an increase in accessibility to different fitness programs that you could access online, even free, whether it was on your phone, your iPad, or TV. And I think there was a really big increase in people's participation in that. I know I did a lot more working out because I didn't have to go to a gym, I didn't have to go to an Orange Theory or something like that. I could just do everything in my own house and have all these great programs that I could access at any time. So I think actually going into this season, a lot of the golfers are going to be a little bit better prepared physically for the game. But other than that, it's really, you're right, stretching is such a key component. I know that when I go and play after the off season, that first few rounds, I am so sore. Yes. But if I stretch a little bit more, it definitely helps.
Yep, for sure.
Absolutely.
And there are places that you can go now to hit balls indoors or practice putting in short game in the off season. And again, sometimes a little break is okay, just to recharge that passion and the desire to go back out and play.
Yeah, you know, I got one of those mirrors this year. There's workout mirrors. I love it. I'm working out way more than I ever would have before. I was a member at the Y, but it just took so long to get there, and it was a hassle. So
absolutely.
I love it.
That's great.
Going to switch gears a little bit. We've asked our other female PGA members this question, but want to know who is your number one female role model as far as women golfers, and who do you look up to? Who do you think has had the biggest impact on the game?
Yes, well, my model is more in the collegiate coaching mentorship now. So I would say, looking at, it was funny, we were all just talking about how we're Big Ten golfers, former alumni of Big Ten universities, and the female coaches that were there when we played are still there. So Therese Hession at Ohio State, Denise St. Pierre at Penn State, Diane Thompson at Iowa, they were all still there. And I had an assistant coach, Lori Murphy, who I enjoyed learning from. And my biggest regret in my career is not utilizing mentorship earlier in my years. I don't know if it was stubborn or if I was just shy, but I definitely didn't utilize that relationship early enough. Now that we're all, I feel like I've been, submerged in this industry for a while now. I feel much more comfortable going up to them and just having a casual conversation and what would you do when, or what did you do when? But I sure wish I would have done that earlier.
Yeah, that's good advice for any young female or just PGA members in general. Use the mentor program.
Oh, definitely. Well, and I think also when we started in this business, there weren't as many of us around that were visible for us to say, hey, I want to talk to you, I want to talk to you, I want to talk to you, and get different feedback and aspects of different areas of the business of golf. And I think kind of like you, I think mine maybe would have been from a little stubbornness when I was young and just starting out. And I didn't take advantage of any mentorship. And I didn't really appreciate it until I got a little bit older. And I can think back, I started my career in South Florida, down in Naples. And my first job that I had, the head pro was a female PGA professional. And she wasn't much older than me. She was young, she was so kind, and she was just wonderful. And I still talk to her now, and I probably access her now more, and I should have when I was starting out.
Yeah, for sure.
I know. I hope I don't regret that. I feel like also knowing what to ask, knowing what to use them for is something that...
Well, you didn't know what to ask.
Exactly.
You didn't know.
It's hard to know, and you don't want to be embarrassed and waste their time or something. So anyway, well, thank you guys so much, Patty, Megan. We really appreciate it. Stay with us. More to come here on Inside Golf.
Thanks, Leela and Patty and Megan. Coming up next from Lulu, our teed off panel here on Inside Golf.
Golfers with price increase.
Welcome back. Inside Golf Now continues from Lulu Country Club with our teed off panel. Speaking of Lulu, if you want to find out more about this really great facility in Upper Dublin, Donald Ross designed, beautiful new clubhouse in the last year, go to lulugolf.com. Joining us today, President of the Golf Association of Philadelphia in his first year, member at Overbrook Golf Club, Oscar Mestre.
Good to see you, Harry.
Great to see you as well. George Foster, longtime professional in the Philadelphia section. George, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Harry.
And from the Philadelphia section of the PGA, Matt Fry, he's Director of Communications. Oscar, GAP had a big year last year, as all golf groups, organizations did. The pandemic was a shot in the arm, and I'm not talking about the vaccine. I'm talking about people getting able to play. Got off to a late start, but it finished strong. Rounds were up unbelievably. What does the game have to do to continue that trend going into 2021?
Well, I think we need to capture those players that came to the game and or returned to the game. There was a lot of that, right? I don't know, it's a goal to capture them all. Don't think we can capture them all because young men and women are going to go back to their team sports as soon as they're allowed to play them and practice them again. But I think many people, families in general, got a taste of what golf can do for you. We as people in the golf administration business and professionals who teach the business want to really keep bringing young people, women, and to this game. We've got to continue to grow that part of our population.
Yeah, the pandemic allowed people, George, to get creative too. Everybody who picked up the clubs, maybe like Oscar said, for the first time in a while or were new to the game, they didn't necessarily play 18 holes every time, right? They were going out there and maybe fitting in what they could, be it 9 holes, be it 6 holes, whatever, correct?
Right. And I think the most important thing is that we don't gouge the golfers with price increases, because golf is already an expensive game. And now that we got them back into the game, let's not raise green fees too much. Let's not raise the dues too much. And unfortunately, I think some of that's happening on a supply and demand theory, but let's not lose them. Let's not give them any reason to leave the game. And expense could be a very important factor in them leaving the game. So let's at least keep it where it is for a while.
What kind of pushback or feedback are you getting from local pros in the section in terms of getting ready? Are they hopeful that they can see the same types of trends that wound up 2020 moving into 2021?
Yeah, you know, I think most pros are expecting similar numbers this year, particularly in the first half of the year. You know, as more people start to get the vaccine and things go back to becoming a little bit more normal, life's going to get in the way, as Oscar mentioned again. But if we can keep those folks, a percentage of those folks engaged and show them what golf can be, I think we have a real good shot of keeping our numbers up throughout the year and into 2022.
Yeah. Anything else that clubs can do, private clubs or even public facilities, Oscar, to keep that pot boiling a little bit?
Well, I think George brings up a great point. You know, we don't want to gouge them. We want to make it fun. We've got to give them, you know, other offerings. Meaning, it doesn't have to be about 18 holes. You know, we talked on a previous segment about, you know, maybe having the return to the short courses, the par threes. You know, something to be able to get people engaged. You know, and 18 holes is a hard first step, right? We have to start with baby steps. We have to make the game fun. And I think the tee it forward movement, the starting the juniors from the start of the fairway, anything to give them positive reinforcement and make the game fun. Once the game is made fun, we can start drilling down to making it a little harder and more competitive. You know, pick a lane, whichever lane you want to go to, but we have to have multiple lanes. We have to have multiple choices to attract and keep.
Yeah. You know, the thing about golf is it was outdoors, right? So it was almost, I don't want to say built for a pandemic, but it was built for a pandemic, George, wasn't it? I mean, at the beginning, got off to a slow start, but, you know, everybody used the cart, one person rather than two, and gradually people got used to that, but then they went to two, and it wasn't, luckily, a big problem, right? I mean, golf, of all sports, it seemed, because of the way it's been played, was perfect for 2020.
It's true. I mean, that is a positive to the pandemic, is that it did boost golf. And it was a little difficult trying to figure out what the restrictions were. One time it was going to be you had to take separate carts, and then it was okay to ride together if you lived in the same household. So it was a learning curve for sure, but I mean, golf really benefited from the pandemic.
Right, and the vulnerable people age-wise, you know, golf's a big part of their lives, thank God. But they didn't seem to stay away from the game too much once they felt comfortable with going out there, and you just hope that that continues.
No, and you're right. And I think what you see a lot through the pandemic in 2020 is that people were walking more and they weren't using golf carts as much. You saw a lot of sales in push cart revenue, and I think people saw that as golf is actually a good exercise for people that they didn't really consider before, because everyone just knows about the golf carts. The other thing is that it provides people to be social, and a lot of times people don't associate golf with being social, particularly people who aren't familiar with the game.
Right, and from a practical standpoint, Oscar, the final question. You know, the rules were changed to allow for the pin to stay in the hole. Then because of the pandemic, you couldn't touch the pin. You still leave the pin in? I just want to know, a good golfer like you.
It depends on how far away I am.
Really?
Yep. My eyes aren't as good as they used to be. So at a distance, I enjoy having the pin in. As I get close, I like seeing as much hole as I can.
How many hit the stick and ricocheted away?
Knock on wood, none. But now that you've said it, probably the next time I try it.
I hope I didn't put the old jinxaroo on Oscar Mestre. Gentlemen, thank you. We'll be back. More of Inside Golf in a moment.
For over 2 decades, First Tee has created experiences that build character. We believe every kid deserves to feel supported, safe to try something new, and to be prepared for what comes next. We develop their swing, but more importantly, their inner strength. Because we know what's inside doesn't just count, it changes the game. Come join us at First Tee.
Well, that's going to do it for this week's edition of Inside Golf. Our thanks to Leila Mackey and to Megan and Patty for helping us get ready for the 2021 season. And in future weeks, one of our stops is going to be at X Golf. Have you heard about it? It's in Chester County, right around Route 1 and 202. We'll introduce you to X Golf. I'm Harry Donahue. Remember, no matter how bad it's going for you out there, and look, no snow here at Lulu. We'll see you next time here on Inside Golf. The 24th season of Inside Golf is presented by Destination Montco Golf. 50 courses, over 300,000 yards. Check them out at montcogolf.com. By the First Tee Greater Philadelphia, building game changers. The First Tee not only helps young men and women become better golfers, but most important, better people. Get involved. Visit firstteephiladelphia.org. By Gap, celebrating amateur golf since 1897. By Jersey Man and Philly Man magazine, a digital publication and private business network. Read the current issue, free, at jerseymanmagazine.com. And by Inside Golf's partner since 1998, the Philadelphia PGA section, the experts in the game and business of golf, and celebrating their centennial year. Take time to thank your local men and women PGA professionals.